Hello, wrestling fans. Blake Smith from Walking the Ropes, and welcome to another episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review for AEW Dynamite from Raleigh, North Carolina. Before all that, make sure to check out the Walking the Ropes link tree for all things Walking the Ropes. To open the show, we had Adam Cole making his way out to the ring, and this is something AEW hardly does and really only started doing when CM Punk debuted, which is a nice change. And it's story time with Adam Cole, baby. He reminds everyone of his record and that the boys are back together, referencing himself, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. Says it's a new era, but is quickly interrupted by Matt and Nick Jackson, as well as Brandon Cutler. And they seem pissed off. They say they'll play nice, but this is their company. And they are the longest reigning champions, and their New Year's resolution is to get their belts back. Bobby and Kyle say they have the same goal. And Cole tries to make everything okay, saying, friendly competition is okay. It's great, and Cole makes a mistake by saying best friends, and, here they come. Cole asks what they have to say, and it's nothing, because Orange Cassidy just tackles Cole and takes him down as the best friends attack the Elite. Cole, though, then low blows Orange Cassidy and is stopped by Chris Statlander before he can lower the boom. But Britt Baker comes down and gives her a curb stomp and holds Orange Cassidy for Cole to hit the boom, and then Cole goes for the Elite kiss with Matt and Nick, but Britt stops them and kisses him instead. This is a cool first time. It's the first time we've ever seen Britt with the Elite. It's kind of been something I've personally wanted because it makes sense, and I feel like we're finally gonna start having her run with the Elite a little more, which is nice. Warglow then gets a great video package, and it seems like we're building to a potential World Championship match, but he will have to go through CM Punk tonight to stay on track. And speaking of that match, CM Punk versus Warglow with MJF. Interesting note, Wardlow and MJF both get their own music instead of having Wardlow just come out to MJF's music like he has before. Wardlow also has new gear. It kind of is reminiscent of the Dark Order, purple and white. No black, but still. I mean, it's not a Dark Order suit at all, but it was a very nice change of gear for him. Punk, though, looks pissed off as he's looking for his 10th win in AEW, and he definitely wanted this match to be with MJF. He'll have to use all of his anger tonight to get through Wardlow. And they stand off and start out slowly. Wardlow's kind of tossing Punk around, but also seems to be taking his time as Punk can slip out of the powerbomb. Punk, though, can't get going as he gets thrown out of the ring, and Wardlow's in complete control as he goes for a powerbomb, but eats a spinning kick and a series of good strikes from Punk, knocking Wardlow off his feet with a final springboard clothesline. Took all of Punk's classic spinning heel kick, back fist, all that, plus the springboard clothesline to knock Wardlow down. Punk takes a moment to taunt MJF, and Wardlow powerbombs him out of the corner and starts to hit the symphony of powerbombs. He hits 5, and he thinks this is enough, but MJF tells him to go for more, and he hits 6, 7. In the 8th, he puts him through a table. He brings him back in the ring, and MJF tells Wardlow to hit a 9th. And this kind of distracts him as Wardlow was going to just pin him. But he goes for the 9th, and CM Punk rolls him up for the win. CM Punk pulls off the possum and gets the win over Wardlow. For my Malteser scale, I gave this a 4 out of 5. I personally loved this match when a roll-up finish works, and this one did, in my opinion. It works well, and I just applaud it. The WTR scale, obviously that's for storytelling, and this has so much story. Oh my god. This is a 5 out of 5 on the storytelling because, I mean, one, you got Wardlow who's building this big thing, and he did fantastic in the match. He carried the entire offense. 2, you have CM Punk looking like the veteran, and it was just perfect from all points, and MJF comes out looking like a dick, like he should, and it's just perfect. They could not have booked that match any better, I don't think. After the match, MJF starts screaming at Warglow, telling him he can't get it done when it counts, and it looked like Warglow was about to snap when Shawn Spears makes his way out to settle the beast, we'll call him. We then get a singles match between Dante Martin and Powerhouse Hobbs, and Hobbs is taking his orders from Taz, as we hear on commentary. He wants Hobbs to retire Dante tonight. Dante seems like he has something to prove tonight, as he takes it right to Hobbs and goes for a dive, but Hobbs catches him and slams him hard. Hobbs is a big dude, and he shows it here, tossing the far smaller Dante around the ring, and then hitting a huge standing cross body and continuing by tossing Dante to the outside. It's a brutal series of moves. Dante finally, though, shows some life as he stuns Hobbs and then hits a missile dropkick. Dante's rolling now as he looks to quickly end Hobbs because he knows he can't last much longer. And Hobbs just runs into him, and it looks like they may have actually smashed heads. I thought I saw Dante's mouth bleeding a little bit, but I wasn't for sure. It was too quick. They were moving, I think, a little bit there. Starks then goes to distract Dante, but Jay Lethal comes out to make the save, and Dante is able to hit the double springboard for the win. Dante Martin defeats Powerhouse Hobbs, and for my Malteser scale, I gave this a 2.75 out of 5. It was a good match overall. I mean, nothing was really wrong with it. I didn't hate anything of it. It was just, I don't know, I thought they could have done a little more. For my WTR scale, I give it a 2.25 out of 5, because while this kind of has been the Taz versus Dante Martin sort of thing, it still feels like it's just kind of there. We're not really meant to care about it, and I wish we would, because Dante is so good, and so is Hobbs. So I don't know. I just felt like there should have been a little more care put into the storytelling here. Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle talk about being named PWI Faction of the Year and say they will get involved if 2.0 get involved in Sammy's match. Big congratulations to them being named PWI Faction of the Year, as well as to the multitude of AEW talent that won PWI awards this year. I heard and saw that they cleaned house. Kingston, who interrupts Jericho, says Jericho should mind his own business and tell Santana and Ortiz they'll never be champions with Jericho. Jericho says he's in Sammy's corner tonight, and if Kingston is there, he might get his ass kicked too. We then get MJF coming back out, and he's yelling. He's telling Punk congratulations for getting destroyed, and his victory was a fluke. And he says next week he'll make sure firsthand that he's gonna that Punk's gonna get what he deserves, and it's the match everybody wants. You know, it's the one that everybody wants: CM Punk versus Shawn Spears. I mean, I saw that coming from a mile away, but I still love it because it's exactly what MJF should be doing. It is taking your jackass level and just putting it that notch higher, and one notch higher, and one notch higher. That's what he needs to be doing, and it's amazing. The Elite talk next and say they have beaten the Best Friends so many times, but Chris Statlander seems to be getting away free. Next week, that's going to change. Britt Baker challenges Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy to face her and Adam Cole. I'm excited for that match. The AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page makes his way to the ring. Talks about facing Bryan Danielson for 90 minutes over the last, I believe he said 2 months. I think he said 4 weeks. Anyway, and everything it took to retain his AEW World Championship, but says those 90 minutes aren't enough. He needs a new challenger. Dan Lambert interrupts him, and Page says if Sky and Page want a shot, they can come get it themselves. Dan then says that's not why I'm here. He commends Page because he didn't take the Cody way, which is booking yourself into these matches, and he respects, but he says he's not a cowboy and tells him to stop disrespecting the cowboys of the past. Page says he used to have 100 heads of cattle growing up and turned down a 6-figure deal to start a company, and now he's the world champion of said company. He knows he's a cowboy. Page says to come here and find out for Lambert's sake if he wanted to. But Lambert says he's going to leave, and as he does, Archer's music hits. And he storms to the ring, and Lambert scurried his way to the ring to try to hide behind Page. And he comes face to face, grabs Lambert, and you can hear him say, "I'm going to kick your ass, blah, blah, blah." And Dan's pleading for his life, telling him, "You're in the ring with the world champion. You should, think about this." And all of a sudden, Archer turns and targets Page, and he smashes him with the chair, and he hits the blackout onto the stood-up chair. And Archer just made a clear statement against the Hangman. He's going for your belt, man. Arn Anderson and Brock Anderson, as well as Lee Johnson, talk about the tag team that is formed here between Lee and Brock. And Arn tells them that they are in Horseman country. And before he can finish what he was going to say about that, Tully comes in with FTR and tells Arn he should drop the dead weight and start working with them. FTR then challenges Lee and Brock next week, and they accept. We then get Serena Deeb versus Hakaru Shida. I believe this is the 4th time these two have met. And they are 2-1 in Shida's favor. If my memory serves correctly, I apologize if I am wrong there. Deeb, before the match even starts, she jumps Shida with a kendo stick and then smashes her knee into the steps. And finally, the match starts and Shida crawls into the ring, and Deeb continues the beatdown on Shida's knee. This is the knee that Deeb always targets in their matches, and I love the story between these two. It's pure hatred that actually started as good sportsmanship. And Deeb eventually locks in what looks like a half crab or a knee bar of some kind on Shida's knee, and the ref stopped the match. Shida didn't tap. The ref stopped the match. So Serena Deeb defeats Hikaru Shida by referee stoppage. And on my Malteser scale, I give that a 3 out of 5 because the match overall was looking like it was going to be a really cool thing, and I love that kind of aspect of, well, we're definitely going to get another match, because now they're, I think, 2-2, and Deeb just got an easy win, effectively. That's why, for my WTR scale, I gave this a 4.5 out of 5, because there is so much more at work here. After the match, Deeb scares off the doctors and the refs with the kendo stick, and then breaks it over Shida's knee as she's getting restrained. Backstage, we get Jurassic Express talking about becoming champions and wish Phoenix the best in recovery. They issue an open challenge to any of the top 5 teams, and Dark Order's John Silver and Alex Reynolds challenge them Friday to a title match, and they accept. I'm looking forward to that match. I didn't really think Reynolds and Silver would be getting a match. I don't know why I paused there. That's a match I didn't think I would want, and now I do, and I'm looking forward to it. We then get Matt Hardy talking about Penta's brother being hurt, and says tonight in his backyard, in front of his family, he will delete Penta and send him to the hospital with his brother. We then get the singles match, Matt Hardy versus Penta, Alcero, Mero. JR talks about it right away, as this match had 2 more people in it. It's a dream match category. I believe the match has happened before, but I still want to see it again. Not to say this isn't a dream match. They're both decorated singles competitors, having both been Impact World Champions. They have a gimmick off, and then Penta starts the Chop Fest, and Matt joins in with some of his own. Matt then gains control on the outside as Penta is distracted by Private Party, and I love seeing Matt still go in the ring. He and Jeff have always been 2 of my favorites, and it's great that they are both still able to do what they love for the fans. Penta finally is able to hit a set of sling blades, catching Matt off guard. Penta is one of the most brutal wrestlers today. He took shots, or his shots look so pure. and forceful. He is on my bucket list to watch live. And they continue to go back and forth for a while, and finally, Matt goes for a moonsault, but he crashes and burns, and Penta then hits the Fear Factor for the win. Penta Alcero defeats Matt Hardy, and for my Malteser scale, I gave this a 3.25 out of 5. It's a very good match. I didn't really hate anything about it, and for the WTR scale, I gave this a 2 out of 5, because this did kind of just come out of nowhere. I mean, we didn't really get much build for it, not that there needs to be much build, but Penta was just in a title match, and now he was fighting Matt Hardy. It just seemed a bit odd. After the match, Penta tells Malachi Black that he'll pay, and before he can do that, the Zero Mero thing, the lights go out, and Black attacks Penta. The Varsity Blondes come out, and they attack Malachi, and they beat him down into a corner, and he kind of sits there as they're standing around him, and he counts them down, the lights go out, and Brody King appears in the ring. He lays everyone out and just tosses them around. He hits a cannonball senton in the corner, and Black and King then take out Garrison with a brutal double team. Chris Statlander, Red Velvet, and Layla Hirsch talk about their match on Rampage. And Chris talks about her other match, and Layla immediately gets annoyed and says she should be focused on their match instead. Red gets them together, but I don't think their match is going to go well. We get a tag team match next, The Acclaimed versus Bear Country. Bear Country lays out The Acclaimed and then tosses Bowens on Caster, and then they focus on Bowens in their corner. The Acclaimed, though, are able to take control eventually as they target this slightly smaller Bronson. And this match seems like it's almost a number one contenders match, as The Acclaimed are the number one ranked team, and a win here will likely set them up for a title shot in the near future. Bear Country, though, goes for a big double team where they had Bronson up on Boulder's shoulders. They missed as The Acclaimed stopped it, and Caster's able to then hit the mic drop for the win. The Acclaimed defeat Bear Country, and for my Malteser scale, I gave this a 3.25 out of 5. It was an overall solid match. There wasn't really anything to complain about. For the WTR scale, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 because, again, it just kind of seemed there. It was a good match, though. After the match, Darby and Sting come out and take out The Acclaimed, and I can't wait for this match as well. We then get the Bastard Pac talking about potentially not being able to see ever again, but now he sees everything, as now his perspective is different and his vision has never been so clear. Matt Hardy talks about what happened and says something has to change. He needs to focus on himself now, he thinks. And Andrade comes in and asks if he likes money. Matt loves money, and Andrade says that he has an idea that will benefit both of them. Matt leaves with Andrade and tells Private Party to stay back. It seems like we might be breaking up the Hardy family office here. I'm okay with that. We then get the interim TNT Championship match. Sammy Guevara defending against Daniel Garcia. Jericho and Kingston are ringside for this match, and I have a bad feeling that this could cost Sammy the title tonight. Also, Sammy technically has the title he lost to Cody, as he has the diamond-studded one instead of the plain one he was handed last week. Just an interesting thing I noted. They also said Cody's going to be back next week to a chorus of boos, so we will have the unification match on the card soon. But will it be Sammy or Garcia? And Garcia's insane to me. I've mentioned before, I've seen some of this man's first ever matches, and now to be watching him live on TBS fighting for the TNT Championship, it's amazing. He has come such a far way. And Sammy takes control immediately, starting things out, and goes for the GTH a little early, as Garcia slips out and hits a backbreaker. Garcia then gains control and seems to enjoy every second as he taunts Sammy, as well as he's beating on him. Garcia is so confident that he even starts taunting Jericho and Kingston. Sammy, though, is finally able to capitalize on something as he hits a springboard dive to the outside, This has been an amazing match as both men capitalize on any and all chances, and honestly, look like they have been through a war. Sammy sends a direct message to the TNT champion, Cody Rhodes, as he hits a crossroads and then goes for the double springboard, but Garcia catches it in a sleeper, followed by a pile driver for a near fall. 2.0 jumps Jericho and Kingston, and then in the ring, Sammy goes for the GTH, but Jeff Parker distracts him. Sammy then kicks Jeff off the apron and sends Garcia into Lee, and then hits the GTH for the win. Sammy Guevara defeats Daniel Garcia to retain the interim TNT championship. For my Malteser scale, I gave this a 4.25 out of 5. It was a fantastic match. I absolutely loved every second of it. And for the WTR scale, I gave this a 4.75 out of 5 because, I mean, with Jericho and Kingston being ringside and with everything going on, it looked like Sammy could have lost the title. But he did not. After the match, 2.0 jumps Sammy again, but Jericho and Kingston make the save and then argue in the ring. Overall, for this show, I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was a freaking awesome show. I mean, there was nothing wrong with it. Yeah. The segment of the night goes to Archer attacking Hangman. That was a perfect moment. I'm excited to see that match. And then match of the night goes to Warglow and CM Punk. I think that match was just perfectly done, and there was really nothing you could have done wrong there. The performers of the night go to CM Punk, Warglow, Daniel Garcia, and Sammy Guevara, as they all just did amazing, did exactly what was asked of them, and I couldn't be more happy with what show they put on. It was amazing. But that is all for this episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review. Thank you all for dropping in. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever we upload a video. And I'll see you in the next one.